Welcome one more time to a new weekly market review. My name is Gonzalo Canete, and here we are in ATFX weekly review video. And I'm gonna show you a quick, fresh review of what is the global situation of the markets. Just a reminder: subscribe to our channels if you want to follow up this information and keep completely updated. So, what is the most important events of this week? First of all, is the Bank of Japan. We have seen dollar yen going to an incredible levels. I'm gonna show you the charts in a few minutes. But I believe we are probably facing a kind of implicit battle between Federal Reserve and Bank of Japan. I tell you why. There is a lot of pressure on the authorities in Bank of Japan to modify the exchange rate. The dollar yen is going to top records in more than 35 years, and therefore they got a lot of pressure to modify this situation. But I believe Bank of Japan is playing the card, waiting with a poker face that Federal Reserve move first, take the first steps and reduce the interest rates. Therefore, they're gonna drop the exchange rate between dollar to yen. They're gonna cool down that dollar yen, and they're gonna fix the problem. That's what I believe. I believe Bank of Japan is waiting to Federal Reserve to take the initiative. We're gonna see that in detail in a few minutes. France is causing also troubles, turbulence in European market. I'm talking about fixed income. I'm talking about also equity. CAC 40, DAX 40, the main index in Europe are dropping for the whole week. On Tuesday, they were trying to recover certain levels, but they closed in the week below the starting levels, and they are continue the losses registry on the last week. Central Bank of Europe and Federal Reserve. Few comments from Central Bank of Europe, few comments from Federal Reserve, just to more or less get an idea, clear of what exactly they're going and what are the intentions they have, and how these comments are affecting the euro dollar plus the France situation. So you're gonna see everything on the charts also. We hit targets on Nike. Amazing video report we did this week. If you follow the channel, you probably have seen already the Nike report. We did a report pre-results with fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and yesterday it was the publication of the results below the expectations, and therefore it was causing a drop on the price. And guess what? The price was dropping exactly to the targets we indicate in our previous report 2 days before. US elections, UK GDP, and the cable. We're going to review quickly what was the result of the first US debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. As you know, probably at this moment, Donald Trump won the debate. Even for Democratic Party, even for the main supporters of Democratic Party, on CNN, they were just admitting that Joe Biden lost the debate. And obviously, it seems to be no other candidates for this. And commodities get interesting. I'm going to give you a quick update on cacao. I'm also going to give you a few charts of copper, plus oil, and plus gold. And we're going to end in with Bitcoin. So let's go to the main points. You got here the main concerns of Bank of Japan. They say Bank of Japan opened doors for a hawkish double surprise. It means they gonna play two different strategies. Either one side rise interest rates, and the secondly they're gonna apply what it's called QT, quantitative tapering, reducing the balance of Bank of Japan. Please let me just wait there until I will see that. I won't believe that, because I think for the last few months, even since the end of 2023 last year, we have been hearing about these comments. The Bank of Japan is going to take actions against the inflation, against the negative interest rates. And so far, what they did was announce an increase of the interest rates, but they say they will continue purchasing bonds at the same amounts they have been doing before, which means there is no QT. So now they say in July, this month entry in a few days, they say they're going to apply a QT, which means they're going to reduce the balance. Let's see if that happens or not. But so far, this is the current situation of the yen. I published this on our social networks on Wednesday, but today we also got, during the early morning of this Friday, right? Japanese market was published the Tokyo inflation rate, and it was 2.3%, in line with the expectation, but it still seems to be high, persistent, about 2.2%, and unemployment rate to 2.6%. Wage growth steady, so salaries are still increasing. That's one of the games they are playing. They say if the salaries are increasing, inflation is not impacting the internal consumption, and therefore the growth rate of Japan, the third biggest economy in the world. So the theory they applying here, the monetary theory, is if the salaries are rising above the rising of the interest of inflation, the citizen still can buy stuff, as the citizen can still keep consuming goods and services, and therefore we are escaping from a recession. But let me tell you, this is a really risky way to manage the inflation. Bank of Japan may rise rates in July, define October consensus. Now, this is the situation on Friday. The dollar yen is rising even above those levels, that was the maximum levels registered since April 1990. And we can see that they break out those levels on Friday. So amazing situation with dollar yen. Really, really interesting. Now, France elections, the last poll published, and I share with you on the social network as well. On, I think it was Wednesday, Thursday, I shared this on social networks. It was the last poll done by Bloomberg. It was showing that still RN, the National Party of Marine Le Pen, the one who say in 2017 they will kick out the European Union and the Euro for France. They actually say they will abandon the Euro and European Union if they reach the power. It was in 2017. Since then, they say, well, not exactly. We're going to work with Macron to make a soft transition. Well, so far, this is the situation. That's the current situation. We can see that this causing certain concerns in Europe because they are winning, simply like that. They are winning. And this is a percent, very interesting data that I was sharing also in social network. This is the percent of foreign holders of French bonds. And as you can see, more than 50%, about 50% of the holders of French bonds are foreigners, which means if the things are going wrong, they're going to just sell off the bonds and they're going to cause a drastic increase of the premium of these bonds, pushing France to the levels that we have seen in 2012 in the case of in the case of Spain and Italy, which it was close to default, 7% 10 years bond in 2012. So cross your fingers, because if that situation happens to France, it's very risky for the euro as a currency. So this is the actual moment we are living right now. 50% of foreign are holding these bonds. Japanese investors sold 27 million in French government bonds back in 2017 pre-election. So fingers crossed if something like that happens today. And currently, let me share the full screen so you will see in detail. But currently is the situation that is happening right now in France. You can see that the CAC 40 is still dropping. On the left, you got the chart I shared with you during the week. And on the right, you can see CAC 40, the French market, by the end of the week, how the things finish this week. So you can see that obviously has been dropping, and probably the next week the most risky scenario is go to 7,300 points on CAC 40. I believe I give you also here a chart with full screen so you can see in more detail the levels. 7,300 points, the next support on the line, vale? on the radar. So that's the current situation. Now, DAX 40 is not doing better. We can see that intraday session showing the DAX 40 quoting below the 200 moving average, 200 periods moving average, which means like it's still bearish. And as you can see, there is many resistance right now. We see there what we can consider like a triple bottom. Let me see if we can zoom that. Yes, triple bottom, and therefore there is a big chances, a big possibilities that this actually keep dropping to 18,000 points, and therefore not good for European market. Comments from Central Bank of Europe. In this perspective, what we have seen in Central Bank of Europe was a few comments related with, well, in this case, it was Olli Rehn, head of finance, Finnish monetary policy. As he said that they are expecting that inflation will move up and down in Europe. That's completely okay. Which, in my opinion, between lines, I think reading between lines, he's saying, regardless of what happens with inflation, we're going to keep going with the interest rate cuts because Europe needs this. Europe is in a recession. Let's be honest. Other story is what happens with the Federal Reserve. You got Susan Bowman on the screen, and she was saying few comments here about mostly hawkish, more Basel proposals and less solving problems with bank reserves requirements. Clap for that. I mean, that's one of the most honest statements from a central banker. But she say no rate cut expected this year. And the most interesting things is we are not in the right point to cut rates. The labor market is not. Other banks may. This is the best point. Other banks may ease monetary policies before Fed does, which means if that's true, Central Bank of Europe, Bank of England, Bank of Japan, all of these, they need to move first before Federal Reserve take any action. And if that's the case, bad luck for Japanese yen, because they are waiting for Federal Reserve to cut the interest rate. Meanwhile, euro dollar is dropping. During the week, we have seen how it was tried to, euro was tried to consolidate the prices about 1.07, and it's ending almost there. I mean, in a lateral movement, but I believe in long term it's going to drop to 106, as you can see on the chart. Let me sell the full screen so you will see in detail. Here it is. I believe sooner or later we're gonna face those levels, 1.06, and that's nothing compared with the long term. I have shared with you that charts in advance several times, and I believe that's the real situation of euro. Is the real drama is going to those levels. In regard with the US debate, it was a sad debate, because Joe Biden, obviously, he was not in the best conditions. And yeah, general opinion is the Donald Trump won the debate. Just a quick review and just to give you fresh update. This is the report we published during the week. Pre-results, Nike report, fundamental and technical analysis. We mark this as a target. Remember, this is not advice of any kind. It's just simply my opinion, sharing with the audience. That's all. But I was considering that most likely the price will move to $80, even $68 second target. And we say long-term bearish holding, decline high wells, identify medium-term bearish, and after results, it was dropping exactly to $80, and then boom, start to recover the price. Very interesting, and yeah, it was a good shot here in Nike predictions. GDP on United Kingdom was rising above the expectation. Good signs, obviously, because it's the second biggest GDP, the second biggest economy in the euro area. Besides, United Kingdom is not anymore part of European Union, but is one of the most biggest economies in the region, and the second one after Germany. And it's good to know that it's recover the track, back on track, let's say, in terms of growth rates. Cable still could drop. As you can see, dollar is getting super strong, and therefore the chart showing us that cable is getting stronger and stronger, and therefore is pushing, dollar is pushing back the cable, and that's why I believe in long term, not even euro, but also the pound will get weaker against the dollar. This is Hong Kong market. This is actually the Hang Seng Index, HSI, and over the week we published the chart saying like doesn't look really good for Chinese market, because we can see the Hong Kong index going below the 200 moving average, but is still in a kind of bearish pattern. And unfortunately, that bearish pattern is getting activated by the end of the week. Let's make some zoom there, but you can see, and it doesn't look good. If it's losing this 17,500 points, things gonna get ugly in the Hong Kong market. And yeah, this is the commodities, a massive increase on cacao, really strong prices on futures on copper. I also mentioned this on social network, but this is interesting to highlight here. Well, remember when I told you about copper, we mentioned the copper few reports ago, because the copper is the new oil, the new gold, the new black gold of the industry. They believe copper is going to rise in long term because the new energies, green deals, investment on renewable energies and electrical vehicles is demanding constantly not only minerals and batteries, but also circuits, and therefore copper to build these circuits. In the case of cacao, is rising also as well. Incredible. And this asset manager, this hedge fund specialized in commodities, they announced this week that the investors by a letter that they are abandoning the long position on crude oil, and they are continue betting on copper and cacao. Very interesting. Oil, we got oil on the screen. It reached Brent reached $86 per barrel, and it seems to be doing a kind of double top and retracement the price at that level. And gold, after $2,450, is coming back again to $2,250, which I believe is the 50% of the range done in long term. And therefore, if dollar is keeping strong, gold should expected to be dropping and calm in that levels. Take a look on Bitcoin, double top also on Bitcoin. It could go, even if it's losing 60,000, clearly it could go to 50,000 as the next long-term support, clear support, but still it's a buy and hold, and so far seems to be fighting to get recover certain supports there. But I think the projection that we saw you right now in the screen is really accurate with in terms of what is the movements of the price. So keep attention to the 60,500 points, and that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, if you like this content, just give me a thumb up, like, and subscribe this channel. Okay, take care. Bye bye.